Welcome to History at Home, bringing the museum to you. During the First World War, there was little female presence in the Canadian Armed Forces, with the exception of the 3,141 nurses serving overseas and on the home front. Yet, at the same time, almost everyone in Canada was involved in the war effort in some way. Over 30,000 women worked outside of the home in munitions factories, offices, and in the countryside on farms. Thousands more women supported the war effort by volunteering their time to knit, sew, and prepare comfort packages of items such as pillows, sheets, socks, scarves, wristlets, and balaclavas to be shipped overseas to the front. This toque is in the museum's collection and is one such example of a knitted item sent overseas. It belonged to Lieutenant C.C. Dahmer, the former manager of the Jack Bell Arena in Niagara Falls. The most prolific knitter in Niagara Falls during World War I was Elizabeth Lundy. At 87 years old, Mrs. Lundy just got busy after hearing a plea in 1914 from the Canadian Red Cross for woolen socks for the troops. Word of her contributions quickly spread, and soldiers based at Camp Niagara came to her door asking Elizabeth to knit them a pair of her wonderful socks. She also received many letters of thanks from soldiers fighting in Europe. By the war's end, she had knitted over 300 pairs of socks and had made many other comforts for soldiers fighting overseas. She became known as the grandmother of the Canadian Army. Here we have a newspaper article commemorating Elizabeth's effort during the war. The article was published on her 90th birthday, and she was referred to as one of the oldest and best-known residents of the south part of the city. She came to Canada at the age of 8. The article indicates that the goats her family raised gave the name to the famous island on the American side. In 1845, she married Lanty Shannon Lundy, the great-grandson of William and Nancy Lundy, of the original United Empire Loyalist family who settled in what became Stamford Township in 1784. They had a large family of 13 surviving children and 25 grandchildren. This next newspaper article comes from the Niagara Gazette, published on September 1st, 1916. It indicates that Elizabeth won first prize in sewing and second prize in knitting at the Canadian National Exhibition, now commonly known as the CNE or the X. She is remembered as hale and hearty, devoting all her spare minutes to knitting for the soldiers. This is a small booklet produced by the Canadian Red Cross during the First World War, detailing the knitting needs of the Army, Navy, and Air Force. There is a pattern for socks that would have been used by Elizabeth Lundy and all Canadian women preparing socks for the boys overseas. Like all clothing worn by servicemen and women, these items needed to be completely uniform, hence the need for specific patterns. Elizabeth died on June 20th, 1919, just a few months after the end of the war. She is buried with her husband at Drummond Hill Cemetery. Thanks for letting us bring the museum to you.